Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology Debunking Mythology. Sat means truth, Logos means a study or science. Sattology means a science of truth or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which means a science or study of fake lie, imagination. I have a very, very special guest joining all the way from Botswana in Africa. And many of you may not know where is the country, but you can check it out, Botswana on Wikipedia, and you'll find out where it is. So, without delay, let us welcome Shri Subhash Kapur. Welcome, Subhashji, for the show.
Thank you.
So, we had done one show, and it was very successfully received, the 1,000-year slavery or 1,000-year on Hindus, especially.
Darkness.
So, when we talk about, so if you have a book on you, you can show the book so people can see it and check it out.
Tell me one thing. Have you seen or read the book?
I've got a copy.
You have got a copy.
Yeah. So gods must have cursed Hindus. Now this is a very good. This is a very appealing line to most of the missionaries, because the missionaries, they always want to tell Hindus that you have been cursed.
Yeah.
You know,
I believe so. Even I believe so.
They must be very happy to know that the Hindus are cursed, and they might be taking just the title of the book and telling everybody else that gods have cursed Hindus. Now, tell me one thing, like in Africa, how the religion of Hindus is viewed generally?
In Africa, we are very docile type of people, except that we have temples. We want to go to the temples, pray, meet people, have sweets and come back. Nothing aggressive, nothing. In Botswana, we have about 7 temples. We have a Hindu temple. We have a South Indian, have a very nice, beautiful temple. The Sai Baba followers have a very nice, big temple. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama society have their own temple. So there's no shortage of temples, except that we believe that we can please our gods by sending WhatsApp messages only. One of the newspaper guy coined the phrase "Internet Indians." We can fight on India. We can fight on internet. We can pray on internet. We can do anything. Nothing more.
Now, one of the things which comes to the mind as compared to, in your book, which you have written also, you have also quoted Will Durant.
Just a second.
Driver for school is outside. They want to leave alone.
Yeah, there is an envelope outside. Ask Nina to look for that.
Please go out.
Then wait. Yeah.
So one of the books you have mentioned.
Can I go for a minute, please? 1 minute. Yeah, take this. Sorry for interruption.
Yeah. Subhashji, it's a live show. So, okay. So one of the book you have quoted Will Durant, and Will Durant has, has recorded that more than 80 million Hindus were killed due to different conquests. And also Macaulay has also said that the Hindus were like rats and the Muslims were like mouse. And this is what Macaulay has quoted about the plight of Hindus. But today, most of the people, they forget that. And the general impression is being created in the West that Hindus are against, or Hindus are as if they want to wipe out the Hindus. Hindus are the people who are very much against human rights of Abrahamic faiths, Muslims or Christians. That is a commentary being done in the West. How truthful is that commentary?
It's is completely wrong. It's a, I believe it's a completely organized way of saying, or for example, defaming this one. Let me tell you how decide this one. You may have heard the latest instance in Amritsar, where one of the person unknown, unnamed, nobody has come to know who is the person. He tried to enter the holy sanctum of Golden Temple, the highest respected place for the Sikhs. And he tried to hold a sword of the Guruji. He was taken out and beaten to death. As compared to within 3 days, there was a reciprocal action in Patiala. A Sikh entered the holy sanctum of a Hindu temple, Kali Mata. He did a sexual gestures, and Hindus very politely hold him and handed over to the police. Now, I like this way. I dislike disrespect of any religion. I am not saying that this is wrong way of saying, but this is actually what is happening. Look at second instance. About a week back, there was in Karnataka, a couple of girls came with the hijab into the school. Though when she was rebuked by the principal or whatever it is, she shouted at a crowd of about 50 people, and she was completely safe. As against that, in retaliation, another Hindu person wrote on the Facebook that I support that the education institution people should not wear any sort of religious garment, or even Hindus should not wear the. He was killed. So where is this perception in the West that we are aggressive? We are not aggressive at all. For 60 years, 600 years, or 1,000 years, we are like we have become very docile. Can I go on? I remember a old story, where a father wanted to teach his son something very important. So he took a bull and told the son that let us tie up the bull. For 15 days, they tied up the bull. First 2 days, he was trying to break the chain. Third day also a little bit, and then he rested, and for 15 days, he was in the chain. Then the father said, okay, take the chain out. And to amazement of the son, the bull stayed there. He did not move at all. Son was flabbergasted. What happened? He says, he has got used to this one. We, after 1,000 years of darkness, of staying under that, have become used to this thing. We are not aggressively doing any, and even we are not aggressively telling the foreigners, no, we are the most decent people. We are not going after any other religion. Yes, please go ahead.
Now, most of the times, Hindus are defending against other accusations. Most of the times, we are defending, and generally speaking, whether it's a church or a mosque or even a synagogue, generally they are taught from the very childhood that the idolaters are bad, and all these three religions maintain idols. All of them have idols. If there's any picture, that's also an idol. All of them maintain. But there is always a saying that idolaters are bad. and that is the major reason of persecution of Hindus all over the world from the religious point of view. So how far do you find it as a truthful in your analysis in this book that the idolatry is the main reason behind persecution of Hindus globally?
Look, what happens in those madrasas, as you call it, schools, Muslim schools, inside what are taught, I'm not aware. I don't know much about it. But yes, it has come under criticism for some years in a big way, because the government, some people believe that their teachings there are not very good for the humanity. But I can't comment because I don't know anything about it. But whatever is taught in our schools or in colleges or in our even temples is prescribed by the almost by the government or private universities. This is, I mean, sometimes I feel surprised when you say that Hindus are aggressive or the other communities are being persecuted. Imagine that Hindu temples are being taxed 4% in Odisha and UP and other places, whereas the Muslim these schools, which they call madrasas, are being given aid. I mean, they are giving handouts. They are giving money. In Delhi, Hindu priests are not given anything, but the government, the Kejriwal government has allocated 15,000 and 19,000 to Muslim priests in the mosques. I mean, senior gets 19,000 a month and junior gets 15,000. So these things are never mentioned by Western press. That alone shows that whatever they are saying is not truth. It is all planned. Yes, please.
Now, in this, when you mention gods must have cursed Hindus, who are the gods that you are referring to?
Yes, that's a very interesting question. Last time you didn't ask me, and I couldn't say anything. Look, we have a lot of gods. Somebody want to pray to Shivji, somebody want to pray Ram, somebody even prays Vaishno Devi Mata, somebody prays in Calcutta Kali Mata. In Himachal Pradesh, we have Jwalamukhi Mata, and in Jammu and Kashmir, we have Vaishno Devi Mata. So we all of these I'm saying as gods, that whatever Hindu is there, he believes that he will, whosoever God he choose to pray for whatever the reason, basically the prayer will go to the Almighty God. So that's why the word gods. My thinking, my way of thinking is that all the gods and goddesses I have mentioned, all the gods, they have flower on one hand and weapon on the other hand. Take it Shivji, they have a Trishul, trident. You take the Ram, they have an arrow and a bow. You take Mata Vaishno Devi, she has at least 3-4 flowers and weapons. Mata Kali Devi, I mean, she's shown as destroying the evil. So we are supposed to be very polite, very humble. But if somebody offends our religion or something, we should retaliate. That spirit has been killed, finished for last 1,000 years. I'm amazed that still Western press goes on and saying that this is being practiced by Hindus, as you have mentioned. I am aware of that. Yes, please. Those are the gods which are which we have plenty of gods. I mean, if somebody will put about 20 photos of different gods. So that is the where I picked up the word gods. Whosoever gods you are praying or following has not come to help when for the last 1,000 years. Yes,
So
please.
the English word curse is very different than shrap. Shrap always means a benediction in disguise, but the curse is something which is you are condemned to hell. So when you say it must have cursed Hindus, that's why I say it's a music to the ears of these Abrahamic faiths that so which believe that monotheism is better than idolatry or pantheism or animism. So they classify Hindu religion as animism or pantheism, and then or sometimes polytheism also, and they say the monotheism is better. So when you write many gods, and just my question to you, and you can answer in detail. So this is again a music to their ears because they already have been taught that monotheism is the best. What is your retort to those people after writing this book?
Look, I didn't, when I was writing this book, it was not for those people which you are mentioning outside India or this one. My book at various places has written that we should retrospect. I am not criticizing any religion. We have mentioned that the Portuguese came and spread, and British came and they through the churches they made people Christian, and the Muslim came and they destroyed the temples, and these are things are mentioned, but nowhere I have said they were wrong. I am always saying we let it happen. We should retrospect that where we made a mistake. We should sit down, think about it, why we are like that, and what should be doing. Have we learned any lesson for our Holocaust for 1,000 years? It's the biggest recorded Holocaust in the world, bigger than the Jews. That was only for 15 years in Germany. We have 1,000 years of Holocaust. They lost 60 lakhs of Jews. We have lost millions, plus half the population has been converted from Hindus to Muslim by force. Today, the old India as Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India, if we consider the Muslim and Hindu population, that is exactly 50-50. 60 crore Muslims are in these three. India, which was in 1946. So this is the biggest Holocaust. What I am saying is, if you read this one, that it's not that they have done something wrong. We let them do something wrong. And we must sit down why we have not followed the gods of our kind. You are saying that the curse is not a right word, or it's music to somebody else. Actually, I couldn't find a better word for shrap. Hindi word is shrap. I couldn't find a better word. And at that time, I wanted to send a message. I didn't care who gets happy or who gets angry. I know half of anybody who will read this whole book. Either some people will be very angry or some people will be very disappointed, because even Hindu do not want to hear that anything against them. I mean, I would say that everybody want to go to America. Everybody is worried about that certain H1 visa or something like that, and everybody talking about this thing. You don't hear these things from other religions so much. They are there. Whatever is available, they are happy. They are not very conscious about it, and of course, I don't know what to say about it.
So the today's generation, like when you see the today's generation of Hindus, which are one is that your generation, second is my generation, and the new generation, which is youth. What do you see the historical remembrance of what happened? Because most of the Hindus do not teach their children what actually happened to them. Children
Yes,
find out themselves, and
yes.
your book will definitely help them in discovering that. So
Hope
what is
so.
what is that which the parents must teach to their children from your book, which children must know?
That is something, sir, which is missing in Hindu parents also. We have a great religion. We have the greatest of the religious book, Gita, and then if you are not happy, we have Vedas, we have Purans, we have this thing, all the things, all the books. Nowhere in the books you are you are you are saying the gods have said that go change his religion by any means. None of our book has ever through the God's mouth has ever said this thing. Everybody said there should be progress, there should be peace, there should be good health and all these things. No God, but still, if you ever, but I have lived in India, in Punjab for 39 years. People are going to dargahs, mosques, without knowing what is that religion. They have not even read one word of Gita or Ramayana or Ved, Yajurved, and this. I don't have to tell you, you are master in these things. But still, every Thursday, they will say, no whiskey on Thursday. But, we'll have at 12:30. And they will go to a dargah without any understanding. I'm, I'm, I'm really disappointed. And when you are saying, what should they teach? The parents today are not teaching anything except how to make money. They are not even teaching their children how to be happy, how to be satisfied. Everybody is in a race how to make money. I'm so sorry to say these things, and knowingly that a lot of people who are not Indians or not Hindus are also with me today. But that's a fact. That is that in this book, my frustration and anger has come out. Yes, sir.
It's very like being a concerned parent as well as being a concerned writer. You're right to express it. That's why I call it the writer's prerogative and writer's liberty also, which is most of the countries they except the Islamic nations. Generally, the freedom to write is generally not there in most of the countries. Now, coming to to again India, and you correctly mentioned that the Hindus don't are not even taught where are they going and what are they doing in terms of the religious preferences. And also it has also been seen that generally most of the converted people come from Hindu background, whether it is Muslims or it is Christians. They are all come from Hindu background. So what is it that despite having, and the answer is very obvious, despite having such a rich heritage of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Veda, still get attracted to these kind of philosophies, which are very, very, I call it very light in many ways.
I I agree with you, and I put the blame to straightway to the government which took over in 1947. When we became independent, straightway we should have said that now we are independent. We should change things. We continued with the same thing. We continued with the English syllabus. We continued with this one. We continued with the same old pattern. If you go to Delhi, there are Aurangzeb Road and Shah Jahan Road, knowingly that these people forcefully converted Hindus. Today also in Delhi, in New Delhi, if you come, more than 50 of the monuments, roads, streets, buildings are named after the invaders who came as guests. We said Atithi Devo Bhava. Atithi, the guest, is God to us. But they were not gods. They were invaders. But unlike Germany, who has erased all memories of Hitler, we are keeping those memories there. Our education system, if you see the history of India, 5 of the education system, 5 of the education ministry at the center were Muslims. Therefore, we were not even told what is our real histories beyond 1,000 years. We were never told that our real heroes are Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh. Our real heroes are being treated as Mohandas Gandhi, who taught us that if somebody hits you on a second, one side of the face, offer him the second one. So I would put blame that what first foundation years, 60 years, as I call foundation years, we didn't do anything. Whereas Germany, the moment they got their freedom from Hitler, I mean, I call them freedom because it was the same thing continued. They went up with a very serious ferment to erase the memory of Hitler. It is a taboo to talk about Hitler. It is a taboo to put the mark of Nazi party in front of. I tell you a very interesting thing. Our Shiva's sign is almost like a Nazi party, if you understand what I mean. And a lot of people believe that it is our Shiva's sign is about 5,000 years old. Nazi party adopted a little other version in late 30s or 25s or something like that. One of the priests said, Mr. Kapur, family was impressed that put this sign in front of your house, and then things will be little better when there was a trouble. I don't know why. By the time I came from the office, the watchman was saying there are at least 10 people have visited and they are objected to this Nazi sign. I said, this is an end of ignorance. 5,000 years, because of this adverse publicity, as you are calling Western world, Shiva's sign is 5,000 years old, and that is what is there. They won't recognize. Like, I mean, I'm talking about your America. If a Sikh is walking, 50% people or 60% people will think he's a Muslim, not a Sikh. This is the ignorance which is being fed and encouraged by our own leader, first who ruled 60 years as a base foundation years, and then some Western press which has deep roots in India. Most of our newspapers are owned by these people overseas. Yes, sir.
In one of the, like you correctly mentioned, the way, very few people know, or they don't realize that Hitler was a Catholic Christian, and it has been a tradition in the church to remove the Jews. So he was carrying out a religious duty. And that's how the extermination of Jews happened from Germany. But the allied powers all over because most of the Jews had come to the United States, and so the US and the founding, and the US is the one which came behind the Jews to protect them because it was part of their DNA. But in case of India, we don't see such support from powerful countries because Hindus became mostly concentrated in India, only one country. But the other people who migrated to other countries, like Barbados, like you are in Africa, a lot of African Hindus and the American Hindus, they feel very strongly towards this genocide of Hindus and constantly defaming the Hindus. Now, but still, the majority of the billion plus Hindus are in India. So, do you think that the current administration in India or the successive future administration in India must do little more to protect the identity of Hindus all over the world and to portray the right history of India?
Yes, you are right there. I agree with you that the current government should do more, and they have done something. They have done something, but but I I feel sad that our foundation years, 60 years, have been wasted, and we have been entrenched in the same atmosphere. We, I mean, I believe, for example, I believe that Russians studied their science in their language. Chinese studied their language, sciences, and even everything in Chinese language. Japanese did it in Japanese language. We did not do anything to encourage to follow our very rich language. We have come to a situation that if 6 Hindi speaking people are sitting, they will start speaking in English. Those foundation years, 60 years, have done so much harm that we will need at least the new government, new thinking, new everything. We'll need at least 20 years to change from negative to center average and then go to this side. It's only, I was pleased that about only a month back, one of the state has said that we will start teaching English and engineering in Hindi language. I am not against teaching in English language. They must have thought that this is already a very developed language. This is already, books have been written in that thing and everything. But today it's a taboo to talk in Hindi language or your local language. It's considered a prestige. Youngsters who are completely illiterate, you may be undergraduate or you may have passed graduation and masters and everything. They are completely illiterate as far as where they are. That's why some of them have started saying that Hindus is a way of life. It's not a religion. Amazingly, they don't even know our religious books, the great religious book, where some of the Western world has used it. The medicines, the book Veda regarding medicines, Veda regarding the source of ammunition and everything is a great reference books. But not many people have been taught this thing in first foundation 60 years. Yes. Yes. And our government is doing something, present government is doing something, but a lot more is required to do. Yes, sir.
Hindus is the only community which has no political protection generally, whether it's India or anywhere else. Generally Hindus cannot even express themselves openly in India. In India, there are more restrictions to speak about Hindu only than any other country. Why do you think in your analysis has happened in so many years?
Look, till 47, this was happening because of the force. Those guests turned invaders turned ruler. 800 years of Muslim and then 200 years of British rule there. So it was their writ which was written and everything. And next 60 years, which I call the white Indians, they also did not encourage this thing completely. Imagine that in a systematic way, in a very systematic way, one after the other, if you go to Google, one after the other, every single education minister was a Muslim. If you have to bring in the minority as a Muslim, there are a lot of ministries which can be done, not education. I mean, I won't remember the name of a scholar, but he said that if you want to kill a country, kill the education first, destroy the education. That is what happened in 60 years. Everybody, the educated people didn't get the job. So everybody want to go have H-1B visa, whatever it is, and then go to America or go and live in London. Even though you drive a taxi and go in Australia, the whole of North India has migrated to Canada. So those 60 years have done so much damage, which is that damage is equal to those 1,000 years of darkness. And it will take time to do little bit of that better. Yes.
When we talk about the documenting the history of Hindus, and you have put in your book, and I would encourage people to read the book, and it's from Penguin. I believe it's in Penguin. Vitasta Publications, and also the education history, the Veda, and how the Veda, Purana, and Itihas like Ramayana and Mahabharata have shaped the morality compass of the world totally. No other literatures of any religion book cover such diverse topics, from medicine to astronomy to astrology. So what has been, from your point of view, your analysis, the biggest contribution of the Hindu culture to the world?
I mean, people have been able to do lot of this thing that we made the zero. We are the author of zero, which is today most important addition to the math or something. We found that the earth is round. We found, I mean, you can write a whole book about this one. Our mythology is saying that we had aeroplanes way back in Ramayana times. Our books are saying that way back the arrows could have the fire bomb sort of thing, and one arrow can multiply like nuclear. This one, but I mean, those books have been completely destroyed and lost during 1,000 years. And nothing has been done in these 60 years. In 60 years, actually, further damage has been done. For example, imagine that the founder of the writers of the Constitution wrote a common civil law. Common civil law should be applicable to everybody. That you can't marry more than once. The wife has the equal right, daughters have the equal right, and everything. Common civil law should be for all population. Imagine it is not applicable to Muslims and other religions. It's only applicable to Hindu. For example, in his grandeur, Jawaharlal Nehru did such a blunder for Kashmir that it's a big headache today. I mean, the greatest of the speech of Bhutto in United Nations said that I'll fight for Kashmir for 1,000 years if need be. And another of the just said that the only way is to give 1,000 wounds to India, because we did not do anything. Reason is that all these people for 60 years were putting a burden on Hindus that you are secular. There was songs by Mohandas Gandhi. There were references by Mohandas Gandhi. We are separate. The burden of secularism has only been on Hindu shoulders. This is what I have written in the book. If you get a chance to read this one, whatever I'm saying is from the book. The burden of secularism is only on Hindu, not on everybody. So we did Kashmir, the problem. I mean, then there are small things. For example, I don't know whether you have heard the reputed case of Shabano. It says something which is very repulsive to me, that a lady who is a wife for 20 odd years or maybe more was given a talaq in front of her teenage children, and she went to the court. The court at the session judge awarded that this is not the correct way or something like that. She awarded everything in favor of the lady. Then it went to the high court. The husband went to the high court. High court also decided in favor of Shabano that no, I mean, she has been the wife for 20 years, mother of 3 great children, and you just can't say him talaq, talaq, and then she's out of your life. Then it went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Courts from one judge to more, 2 or 3, 4 judges. Supreme Court decided in favor of Shabano. Then what do the Rajiv Gandhi government do? Change the law in favor of against this one in the parliament. And everybody's sitting in the parliament, and majority was Hindus, kept silence. Completely did not see. They did not even see it is a disgrace to reverse this decision. This is a great decision of the courts. It's in favor of humanity, in favor of women, be it any religion. But those 60 years have completely destroyed our thinking. I mean, I can count 20 things like Beaufort scam, and I mean, it depresses sometimes. That is how the book has come. Yes.
So, Subhash Kapur ji, one last question. Like, for example,
Yes, sir.
the local culture of Africans and Hindus. Now, Mahatma Gandhi was very well known to be the leader of the apartheid movement, which he fought against in South Africa, and that's how it is regarded in the local folklores over there, or the recorded history. How truthful was that for the local Africans?
It's funny that I believe it was not correct. It is not correct. Reason is that he fought for this thing only for the Indians. He did not at all include the rest of the population. You can go to a library and you will find about 100 years of autobiography of Mohandas Gandhi. and you read those of 1914, 1913, 1910 or 11, and everything. He was only fighting with this thing, whether he was fasting, whether he was advocating, whether he was in the court, whether he was this thing, for the equal rights of Indians. The local African population, or Boer population, as you call it, from Holland, or British population, and those people never supported him and never followed him there. I mean, in this story, you hear one or two people here sitting there, or I mean, they were made to come and sit there. But mostly, if you go through very minutely, he was always fighting for equal right for the Indians. He was not fighting for the apartheid as such. I would say he was fighting for the apartheid against Indians. But you know, where some people are destined to be get popular by whatever the way they whether they do or not. He was part and parcel of Dandi March. 230 people died, and a lot of people went to asylum because they were beaten too much. But our great Gandhiji never received even one lathi, not even one, this one. He was scratch-free till such time he went to the sea, picked up the salt, came back, nothing. The Salt Act remained there till 54. Nothing changed. But in the process, those 300 people died. Anyway, that is my view. And I'm quite depressed whenever I repeat these things. Yes, please.
Subhashji, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your views, and also for readers who would like to get this copy, you can search by his name on Amazon and Subhash Kapur, and then you can check out this book, Gods Must Have Cursed Hindus. And thank you so much for coming on the show second time, and what a wonderful discussion. For viewers, please comment on the show and let us know your feedback. Namaste.
Thank you very much for inviting. I feel so happy to be talking to you, and I hope that sometime in some future we'll again talk about it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
Bye.
All right.